I never thought I'd be the guy pretending to be someone's boyfriend, especially not another man's. But there I was, in a crowded New York City coffee shop, heart pounding as I slid into the booth across from Eric Rivera, the tech mogul whose life was about to intersect with mine in ways neither of us could predict. "Remember, we're in love," he whispered urgently, his dark eyes locking onto mine just as his conservative family walked through the door, ready to scrutinize every glance and touch. "My name is Jordan Hayes, a 28-year-old freelance journalist scraping by in Brooklyn. I'd always prided myself on my integrity, chasing stories that exposed corruption and inequality. But when my editor at the Vanguard offered me an undercover gig that could make my career, I couldn't say no." Eric Rivera was the CEO of Rivera Tech, a rising star in Silicon Valley who'd relocated his headquarters to Manhattan. Rumors swirled that he was gay, but in his ultra-traditional Latino family, coming out wasn't an option. His parents, devout Catholics from a small Texas town, were pressuring him to settle down with a nice girl, threatening to cut him off from the family fortune if he didn't. Eric needed a decoy, a fake boyfriend to parade in front of them during their annual visit, buying him time to secure his independence. The twist? I was straight, or at least I'd always thought so, and this job paid enough to cover my student loans and then some. We met through a mutual friend in the journalism world who knew Eric was desperate. "It's just acting," Eric had assured me during our first clandestine meeting in a dimly lit bar. He was 30, tall with sharp features, olive skin, and a charisma that filled the room. His smile was disarming, but his eyes held a vulnerability that made me pause. "We'll hold hands, share a few laughs, maybe a peck on the cheek. Nothing more." I nodded, thinking of the expose I could write afterward, about the pressures on queer executives in corporate America, the facade of heteronormativity in immigrant families. It was a story ripe with social commentary, one that could spark debates on authenticity versus survival. The coffee shop encounter was our debut. Eric's parents, Maria and Carlos, arrived with his younger sister, Sophia, in tow. Maria's face lit up when she saw us together. "Alejandro, who's this handsome young man?" she asked, her accent warm but probing. Eric squeezed my hand under the table. "Mom, Dad, this is Jordan, my boyfriend." The word hung in the air like a challenge. Carlos's eyebrows furrowed, but he extended a hand. "Boyfriend? Well, that's unexpected." I forced a smile, launching into the backstory we'd rehearsed. We met at a tech conference, bonded over our love of hiking and indie films. As the conversation flowed, I felt the weight of their expectations. Maria peppered me with questions about my family. Did I go to church? What were my intentions with her son? I lied smoothly, drawing on my own Midwestern upbringing to paint a picture of stability. But as the afternoon wore on, something shifted. Eric laughed at one of my jokes. A real, unguarded laugh that made his eyes crinkle. For a moment, the pretense felt natural. We excused ourselves to grab more coffee. And in the line, he leaned in close. "You're good at this," he murmured. "Almost too good." His breath on my ear sent an unexpected shiver down my spine. I chalked it up to nerves, but deep down, I wondered if this role was already blurring lines. That night, after dropping his family at their hotel, Eric invited me to his penthouse for a debrief. "You nailed it," he said, pouring us whiskey. The city lights twinkled below, a stark contrast to the intimacy of the space. We talked for hours, not about the act, but about our lives. He opened up about the suffocating pressure from his parents, how he'd hidden his sexuality since high school to avoid rejection. "In our culture, family is everything," he said softly. "But being true to myself means risking it all." I shared my own struggles. Growing up in a small Ohio town where being different meant being an outcast, how journalism became my escape. For the first time, I felt seen, not as a straight ally playing a part, but as someone grappling with identity. The next day brought our first real test, a family dinner at a fancy Italian restaurant in Midtown. Sophia pulled me aside while Eric chatted with his parents. "You seem nice, Jordan, but is this for real?" Eric has never brought anyone home before. Her suspicion cut deep. She was protective, a college student studying social justice at NYU, and she smelled something off. I deflected with charm, but inside, guilt gnawed at me. Was I exploiting Eric's pain for a story? The meal was tense, with Carlos grilling Eric about the company's future and Maria hinting at grandkids. Eric reached for my hand across the table, his grip tight. In that moment, the touch felt less like performance and more like solace. As the week progressed, the facade deepened. We attended a charity gala together, where Eric introduced me to his colleagues. Whispers followed us, some supportive, others laced with homophobia. One executive pulled Eric aside, warning him that this lifestyle could hurt investor confidence. Eric's jaw tightened, but he played it cool. Later, in the limo ride home, he vented. See what I deal with? Pretending to be straight was exhausting, but now pretending with you. It's different. I didn't know how to respond. The lines were blurring faster than I'd anticipated. The charity gala lingered in my mind like a turning point. The next morning, Eric texted me to meet at Central Park for a practice date. His words, not mine. We needed to sell the relationship more convincingly, especially with Sophia's growing doubts. As I jogged to the meeting spot, I replayed the previous night's events. The way Eric had defended us against that executive's subtle bigotry. His hand on my back a silent anchor. Was I reading too much into it? We strolled along the Bethesda terrace, the autumn leaves crunching underfoot. Tourists snapped photos, oblivious to our charade. Hold my hand, Eric said casually, slipping his fingers into mine. Felt warm, familiar now. We talked about everything and nothing. His passion for coding that built an empire, my dreams of writing a book on social inequalities. You're not like the guys I've dated before, he admitted, staring at the fountain. They were all in the closet playing games. With you, it's easy. I laughed it off, but his words stung. Easy because it was fake, or because something real was budding. Sophia ambushed us that afternoon. She showed up at Eric's office unannounced, demanding a private lunch with me. I need to know you're not using my brother, she said over salads in a nearby cafe. Her eyes were sharp, informed by her studies on LGBTQ rights. He's been through enough, family expectations, societal crap. If this is some straight guy's experiment. I swallowed hard, spinning tales of our first date at a Brooklyn bookstore. How Eric's smile lit up my world, but her questions probed deeper. Had I ever been with a man before? Was I out to my family? I dodged, claiming privacy, but the conversation planted seeds of doubt in me. Was I queer? The thought had flickered before in college crushes I'd dismissed as admiration. Back at Eric's penthouse that evening, I confessed the interrogation. She's on to us, I said, pacing the living room. Eric sighed, running a hand through his hair. Sophia's always been the truth seeker. Maybe we need to amp it up. He suggested a weekend getaway to the Hamptons, framing it as a romantic escape for his family's benefit. Carlos and Maria would join for a day, turning it into a litmus test. I agreed, but anxiety churned. This was escalating beyond a simple gig. The drive to the Hamptons was tense at first, traffic clogging the highways. But as the city faded, so did our guards. Eric blasted indie rock, singing off-key, and I joined in, laughing until my sides hurt. At the beach house, we unpacked, the ocean waves crashing outside. That night, over wine on the deck, he shared more. The bullying in school for being too soft. The ex who outed him to mutual friends, shattering his trust. Pretending with you feels safe, he said, his voice raw. I opened up about my own isolation, parents who divorced bitterly, leaving me wary of commitment. For hours we talked, the stars above witnessing vulnerabilities we'd hidden from the world. The family arrived the next day, turning the idol into scrutiny. Maria fussed over us, calling us such a cute couple, but Carlos pulled Eric aside for a man-to-man talk. I overheard snippets. This phase. Think about the family name. Eric emerged shaken, his facade cracking. We went for a walk on the beach to decompress. They'll never accept me, he muttered, kicking sand. I stopped him, turning to face the wind. Then why pretend? For the money. He looked at me, eyes searching. It's more than that now. With you, I feel like I could be real. My heart raced. In a moment of impulse, I hugged him, not for show, but because he needed it. His arms around me felt right, stirring emotions I'd buried. Sophia noticed the shift. During a group dinner, she cornered me again. You're falling for him, aren't you? But is it genuine, or just the role? Her words hit like a wave. That night, as Eric and I shared the guest room, for appearances, I lay awake, his steady breathing beside me. The pretending was unraveling, exposing raw feelings. Was this attraction real, or a byproduct of immersion? The weekend ended with a barbecue, where tensions boiled over. Carlos made a toast to family traditions, subtly jabbing at our relationship. Eric stood up, his voice steady. Dad, Jordan makes me happy. That's what matters. The silence was deafening. Maria teared up, Sophia smirked knowingly, and Carlos grumbled but backed down. As they left, Eric turned to me. Thank you. That felt liberating. But in his eyes, I saw the same confusion mirroring mine. The fake relationship was fostering real bonds, but at what cost? Returning to the city, the charade continued with public outings, a Broadway show, dinners in trendy spots. Paparazzi snapped photos, fueling rumors about Eric's sexuality. His board members called an emergency meeting, concerned about distractions. Eric confided in me, his stress palpable. This could tank my career, he said. I reassured him, but internally, I wrestled with ethics. My editor pressed for updates on the story, but I delayed, the lines between journalist and participant blurring. One evening, after a heated argument with his parents over the phone, Eric broke down. Why can't they just love me? He sobbed. I held him, the embrace lingering longer than necessary. In that vulnerability, I felt a pull, a desire to protect him, to be more than a prop. The Broadway show marked a pivot. Flashes from cameras outside the theater captured us hand in hand, and by morning, social media buzzed with speculation. Rivera Tech CEO comes out? Headlines screamed. Eric's phone exploded with messages. Support from allies, vitriol from trolls. At his office, I waited in the lobby, overhearing whispers. Is he serious? Or is this a PR stunt? When he emerged, his face was ashen. The board wants a meeting. They're worried about stock dips. We retreated to his penthouse, where the fallout unfolded. Eric paced, ranting about the double standards. If I were straight, dating a model, it'd be celebrated. But this? It's a distraction. I listened, my own guilt festering. This was my doing, in part, pushing the boundaries for authenticity. But as he spoke, his passion ignited something in me. You're brave, I said. Braver than I could be. He stopped, looking at me intently. What if this wasn't pretend? What if we made it real? The question hung, electric. I stammered. I don't know. But the seed was planted. Sophia escalated the conflict. She invited us to her NYU dorm for a casual hang. But it was an intervention. Her roommates, activists in the queer community, grilled us. Faking a relationship perpetuates stereotypes, one said. It's harmful to real LGBTQ struggles. Eric defended us, but I felt exposed. Was our charade trivializing genuine experiences? Sophia pulled me aside. Jordan, if you're questioning your sexuality, that's fine. But don't use Eric as your experiment. Her words stung because they rang true. That night, I researched online articles on fluid sexuality, stories of late bloomers. It resonated, stirring unrest. The family dinner that followed was explosive. At a Tex-Mex spot in Chelsea, Carlos confronted Eric about the media frenzy. This is embarrassing the family. What will our church friends say? Maria tried to mediate, but tears flowed. We love you, Mijo. But this lifestyle. Eric snapped. It's not a lifestyle, Mom. It's who I am. I interjected, defending him, but Carlos turned on me. And you? Some opportunist latching onto my son. The accusation hit hard. We left in a storm, Eric silent in the cab. At home, he thanked me. No one's ever stood up for me like that. Our eyes met, and for a second I leaned in but pulled back. The timing was wrong. Work pressures mounted. Eric's company faced a boycott from conservative investors, stocks dipping 5%. He worked late nights, stress etching lines on his face. I brought him coffee, staying to help brainstorm damage control. In those quiet hours we bonded deeper, sharing dreams, fears. One night, exhausted, he rested his head on my shoulder. "I don't know what I'd do without you." The intimacy felt real, but doubt crept in. Was I falling for him or the role? A turning point came at a pride event in Greenwich Village. Eric insisted we attend for visibility. But it was personal. Amid rainbow flags and cheers, he seemed free. We danced, laughed, the crowd's energy infectious. But a heckler shouted slurs, shattering the joy. Eric froze, flashbacks to his past. I pulled him away, holding him in an alley. "You're safe with me," I whispered. In that moment, emotions surged. We kissed, not for show but instinctively. It was brief, tentative, but fireworks exploded inside me. Pulling back, we stared, breathless. "That wasn't pretend," Eric said. I nodded, terrified and exhilarated. The kiss changed everything. We avoided discussing it at first, but tension simmered. Sophia sensed it, texting me, "Be honest with him." My editor demanded the story draft, but I couldn't write it. Betraying Eric felt wrong. Instead, I journaled my confusion. Attraction to men I'd ignored, societal norms I'd internalized. Was this bisexuality? The realization rocked me. Family backlash intensified. Carlos called, disinviting Eric from a cousin's wedding unless he ended this nonsense. Maria pleaded in voicemails. Eric spiraled, questioning if coming out was worth the pain. Maybe I should just marry a woman, keep the peace. His words hurt, implying our connection was disposable. We argued, my first real fight with him. "Don't throw away who you are," I yelled. "Including us?" He shot back. The us slipped out, acknowledging the shift. Reconciliation came slowly. Over coffee, we talked openly. That kiss, it meant something, Eric admitted. "To me too," I confessed. But fears loomed. My straight identity crumbling, his family's rejection. As File 3 built to a crescendo, the conflicts, social, familial, internal, piled on, forcing choices that could shatter us. The argument lingered like a storm cloud. Days passed in awkward silence, our interactions limited to necessary pretense for lingering family eyes. But the kiss replayed in my mind, a catalyst for self-doubt. I confided in a close friend, Mia, over beers in Brooklyn. "Sounds like you're bi, dude," she said bluntly. "Own it." Her acceptance eased some turmoil, but facing Eric was harder. He broke the ice with a text. "Meet me at the High Line. We need to talk." The elevated park was bustling with joggers and tourists, but we found a quiet bench overlooking the Hudson. "I'm sorry," he started. "For pushing, for assuming." I shook my head. "It's me. I've never felt this way before." We dissected the kiss, mutual, confusing, but undeniable. "What if we try for real?" Eric asked. My heart soared, but reality crashed in. "Your family, my job. It's complicated." He nodded. "Life is." We decided to pause the fake relationship publicly, giving space. But privately, we explored. Dinners turned intimate, walks hand in hand without cameras. Eric shared queer history books, helping me navigate my awakening. "It's okay to question," he said, but societal pushback mounted. Online trolls doxed us, spewing hate. At work, my editor sensed hesitation. "If you're too involved, pull out," she warned. But I couldn't. Eric had become my world. The cousin's wedding became the flashpoint. Eric defied Carlos, attending alone at first, but I surprised him by showing up. In the Texas venue, amid judgmental stares, we stood together. During the reception, Carlos cornered us. "This ends now. You're confusing lust with love." Eric stood tall. "No, Dad. I love him." The admission stunned me, and the room. Murmurs erupted, relatives dividing. Some supportive, others aghast. Maria pulled Eric aside, whispering prayers. Sophia intervened, defending us. "Love is love," she declared. The night ended in chaos, with Carlos storming out. Back in New York, the fallout was swift. Carlos froze family assets tied to the company, forcing Eric into legal battles. Stocks plummeted further, board members calling for his resignation. "This is what authenticity costs," Eric said bitterly. "I felt responsible. I started this as a lie." He cupped my face. "But it became truth." We leaned on each other, navigating the storm. I came out to my own family, my mom supportive, dad distant but trying. It mirrored Eric's pain, bonding us deeper. A controversial twist emerged. A rival tech firm leaked emails suggesting our relationship was staged for publicity. The media frenzy intensified, debates raging on talk shows. "Is faking gay love exploitative?" pundits asked. Pro-LGBTQ groups criticized us for queerbaiting, while conservatives called it a hoax. Eric held a press conference, admitting the initial pretense but affirming our real feelings. "Love doesn't follow scripts," he said. The backlash was mixed. Some praised the honesty, others vilified us. Personally, I grappled with the ethics. Had I manipulated Eric for a story? The guilt peaked when my editor published a sanitized version without my consent, framing it as undercover journalism gone wrong. Eric felt betrayed. "Was I just material?" he asked, hurt flashing in his eyes. We fought again, raw and intense. "I love you," I blurted. "That's real." Tears flowed as we reconciled, but trust was fractured. As high drama built, friends rallied. Sophia organized a support group, sharing stories of similar struggles. It highlighted broader issues: immigrant family dynamics, corporate homophobia, the fluidity of sexuality. But the pressure tested us. Eric considered stepping down from CEO to escape scrutiny. "For us," he said. I urged him not to sacrifice his dreams. In a quiet moment, we escaped to the beach house. Waves crashing, we reaffirmed our bond. "No more pretending," Eric vowed. The intimacy deepened our connection, but external forces loomed. As File for crested, choices loomed. Fight for love amid controversy, or let societal conflicts tear us apart. The beach house retreat offered respite, but reality beckoned. Back in the city, Eric's legal team battled Carlos over the assets. Court documents revealed deep family rifts, generations of suppressed truths, from a queer uncle shunned decades ago. It humanized Carlos, showing his fears rooted in his own upbringing. Eric reached out a tentative olive branch. "Dad, let's talk." The call was strained, but a crack appeared. Maria mediated, urging understanding. Meanwhile, my career imploded. The published story backfired, labeling me unethical. Job offers dried up, forcing freelance gigs. But it sparked a movement. Online forums debated the morality of undercover roles in queer narratives. "Does pretending invalidate real love?" Threads exploded. I wrote an op-ed, owning my mistakes. "Love found me in the facade," I concluded. It went viral, shifting public opinion slightly. Our relationship evolved amid the chaos. We attended therapy, unpacking baggage. Eric's sessions revealed abandonment fears. Mine, internalized homophobia. It strengthened us, turning conflict into growth. Sophia became our ally, organizing a family Zoom. "We're all flawed," she said. Carlos listened, admitting, "I don't understand, but I don't want to lose you." It wasn't acceptance, but progress. Maria sent care packages, a silent gesture. Corporate woes persisted. The board voted, but allies rallied, saving Eric's position. Stocks rebounded as progressive investors poured in. "Authenticity sells," Eric joked. We celebrated with a quiet dinner, toasting resilience. But not all was resolved. A final controversy arose. An ex of Eric surfaced, claiming our story mimicked his own painful fake-out. Media painted us as insensitive. We addressed it privately, Eric apologizing. It underscored the ripple effects of our choices, how personal decisions fuel societal debates. Months later, stability returned. Eric's family visited again, tentative but warmer. Carlos shook my hand firmly. Take care of him. It was a small victory. We built a life. Shared apartment, joint projects blending tech and journalism for social good. Reflecting, the journey from pretense to reality exposed raw truths about love, identity, and society. We navigated homophobia, cultural clashes, ethical dilemmas, emerging scarred but stronger. Was it right to start a relationship built on a lie, even if it led to genuine love?